Hey guys, it's Whitney. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, then hello, and if you are returning, then what's up? Today is video number 4 out of my back to school series, and it's a hard video for me because I feel like regarding this subject I've done all the wrong things, and I don't know if I'm the best person to talk about this, but I feel like it's real and honest, and that sometimes within, church and being a Christian, a lot of times things are sugar-coated and not really given to you how life really is. And so I'm just gonna give you my perspective and things that I wish I would have done that I didn't do that I think could work. So I'm giving you good and bad and how I am now with my time with God. My relationship with God is pretty much not there. It's like non-existent, to be real. Like, I don't pray like I should. I don't read. I don't go to church like I should unless I'm at home in my home church. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna start with how my relationship with God was in high school, and then I'll end up how it led here to where I am now, and throughout that I will give different things that you can do differently that I didn't do that I know works and worked for some people that I know. In high school I was probably like, regarding my walk with Christ, almost annoying with it. Like, I literally went to church every Sunday. I read my Bible. I gave devotionals to my friends and read devotionals for myself. I prayed. I wore the t-shirts that said, Jesus loves me and stuff like that, and I had a really good relationship with God, and I think that was good. But in a way it was parts of my wanting to show that I was a Christian and doing really good with it, and this facade is that I put on a outer layer of perfection, and I strive for that perfection so much that it created insecurities within myself that I honestly still have today. I didn't realize I was creating these insecurities, but I could feel them. I don't know if that makes sense, because I guess if you can feel them, then you know. But now that I've grown and I'm older and I understand, I realize that my strive for perfection, my strive to want to be a good student and a good cheerleader, a good child, and obey my parents, not lie or steal or have sex or smoke weed or drink alcohol, all of that perfection, that thought of wanting to be perfect, it kind of like led me to hating myself in a way, but also like thinking that God hated me because I fell into the temptations of doing those things. That was me in high school. Not the whole hating part, but the whole striving for perfection, the want to show God that I loved him and that I wanted to be a really good person, like being a good person. So I thought that being a good person was not sinning, not doing anything that was a sin. My relationship with God, I think, on the outside was, kind of a facade, but at the same time, I think I was really trying to build my relationship on a personal level, and I think that was an amazing part of my relationship. Transitioning into college is just a place of so much opportunity, so much just exploring of who you are and what you want to be. My first relationship led to me kind of the hate part, okay? Not while I was in the relationship, no. He was a great guy, like honestly amazing. But we're not going to talk about the relationship, we're talking about my walk with God. Summer before college started, I had boot camp, and during boot camp, this is where I wrote my poem about Father, I Miss You, because I could feel it happening. I could feel the fact that I was growing farther and farther away from God instead of closer to him, like I had always planned to. I'm talking to him and telling him how he's not there for me and how he's left me and all of that, but in reality he's talking to me and like, I've been here the whole time, you're just ignoring me. I'm in your ear, I'm in your thoughts, I'm in your whole aura, but you're ignoring me and I can't get through unless you let me through. I wrote that, and it means a lot that I wrote it then, because it showed that I knew that I was pulling away, but I still wasn't listening even though I was writing it. My freshman year is where I started to think that God didn't like me. After writing that poem, since I couldn't, keep up with that perfection that I thought God wanted and that I thought I needed to be, I thought he hates me and I don't even deserve to be talked to, and I don't deserve like God's mercy or whatever. I just really literally thought that, and at the same time, I started to really focus on my weight, what I was eating. I'm still kind of like that now, but the whole health thing is more because I want to be healthy, not my weight. So I would focus on my weight and how I'm eating, what I'm eating. I don't know, I just was so judgmental against myself. That's where I was for part of my college years. Last year, I went through a phase, like last semester, where I was so, I don't know, I talked to Lonnie and Kaylin about it, but it was like a self-hate thing that I had in high school that I worked on so hard to the point that I created a chalk wall where I had Bible verses and words of kindness and words of friends that I know, and they were all over my wall. And now I have a picture wall where I do the same thing, just in a different mannerism. But last semester I went through a phase of like this insane anxiety and just torture within myself, and I really just started to do the same thing that I used to do. I had to work myself back out of it. So I guess like this is kind of an all over place type video, but with regarding, you know, your walk with God, and so that you don't become into a place where you feel like God hates you or doesn't like you, which is never the case. At the moment, I am like working on healing myself, but my relationship with God is still not there, actually, at all. But I wanted to make this. So with regards to not doing what I did and trying to maintain your relationship with God, even if it's not as strong as you want, at least you have something. I would suggest number one, being your own motivation, and being your own motivation to really, you know, keep that connection. And I think for me, I lost that motivation. I think that's one thing that you have to have. I say this because last semester, my roommate Lonnie, she used to get up and go to church every Sunday when she could, when she wasn't working. And I'd be laying in bed and she'd come to my room and she'd be like, "Hey Whit, good morning." And I'd be like, "Hey." And then she'd be like, I'd be like, "Where are you going?" And she'll go say, "I'm going to church." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then she'd go. And in a way, now that I think about it, I really admired that because she was her own motivation to just get up and go. It wasn't someone pushing her to go. So I think be your own motivation, and you can have inspiration, but be your own motivation, and you're gonna have to want it for yourself in order for it to happen. And that's kind of where I am right now. My second thing would be find inspiration through people that you know or people that you watch maybe on YouTube. For me, my inspiration has become Shameless Maya. I find her to be amazing and so just motivational that I have become my own motivation through watching her, and like through her inspiring me to get up and just, you know, go and try. Like, at least you're trying, and if you don't go the next week, okay, but try again. The next thing that I would say is, instead of thinking of it as, you know, becoming a better Christian and becoming this person that's a good person, think of it as healing your body and healing your mind and healing yourself and learning to love yourself as you. And then add the combination of God in there. When I was in high school, I had a whole video on learning to love yourself, like, I don't know. And I really focused on loving myself because my strive for perfection was a problem. And I think that helped with me growing with God and learning about God. I'm doing that and implementing that into my life right now, and it's helping and it's making me feel better. I'm getting up. For one, I'm making videos all the time. I've kind of found what I want to do with my life, and that's beautiful to me. I think I'm number 4, I'm not really sure. So try going to a youth group that's on your campus. So for me, it's called Every Nation Campus. I personally, that's something that I have to do on my own time. I haven't done it yet. I mean, I went a couple of times last semester, but that's something I gotta be ready for, and it's not something I'm ready for. If you want to like maintain your relationship and say you already have a good relationship with God, then, you know, just go find one on campus that is good for you and that you like, and go to it and surround yourself with people that want to have a relationship with God. I mean, those are not the only people you have to surround yourself with, because I think personally you need to have a broad perspective of different types of people that mold you. One other thing is read books. I'm reading inspirational books and reading blogs on learning to heal myself as a person. It's so like eye-opening and like making me so mindful of things. With books, I'm reading a book called Not a Fan, and it's literally taken me like 3 months to read it. It's literally like this big, but it's so powerful that I can only read it chapter by chapter because I feel like it's talking so directly at me that I'm like, I don't want to read this because I don't want to hear it. So I read it in spurts. That's a Christian book, but you can also read enlightened books like The Power of Now. I haven't started reading it yet, but I'm going to because it was recommended by one of my prophytes. So I read a blog that she has written on. It's called We Heal Too, I think. She wrote a post, and in the post she talked about the book called The Power of Now. Regarding relationships and like people and boys and girls, you have a surplus of people, you know, to get to know, to talk to, but that doesn't mean you have to give your body to like every single person. So for me, I didn't really have sex after I had my breakup, but I think that a lot of people struggle with, you know, just going from person to person or staying with the same person if that person doesn't treat them correctly or how they should be treated as a woman or as a man. You're stuck on pleasing this person and that person becomes your priority. I mean, regarding relationships, I guess I can go into depth another time, but for this video, I just have the stuff that I did wrong and I wanted to, you know, inform people on what to do good. My very last thing is, I remember my freshman year, I let this lady get in my head because of a class I was taking. It was called Africana Studies, and I do recommend the class. I think it's a great class. But it got in my head because in the class they were talking about how God didn't come from where we believe he came from. It was something that bothered me because at the time my relationship with God was still semi there. So everybody in that class was like, oh, I believe it. I believe God's not real. Me and like two other people, the one was like, I'm not gonna sit here and believe something because you just put it in my face for like 5 seconds, and they literally talked 5 seconds about how God wasn't real. And don't let those types of things get into your head to really negatively impact your relationship. And I think that's something that I did. In college, you're gonna take different classes that have different perspectives on life. That doesn't mean you have to let that stuff and the different perspectives get in your head, because for me personally, regarding whatever religion someone may be, I don't think that you can be like, your religion's not real because whatever reason, you're gonna go to hell because of it. Like, that's just not my mentality. There's probably way more to be said here, but that's what I've got for you guys. I hope that I was helpful on, you know, the challenges of keeping your faith in college and just, you know, everything. I am not the best person to be sharing this information, but I feel like because I've done so wrong with keeping my faith and keeping a connection with God, I think that I could be helpful to those who are either in my situation or feel how I felt before. And you know, if you haven't subscribed, then you can always subscribe to my channel, and you know, check out my natural hair videos too, because I do those.